There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
All right, buddy. All right, are we good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right.
Like a virgin, can your heart beat next to mine? I demand it.
All right, Henry, put on your radio voice now, not your real one. Welcome to the show, everyone. That's
This is Henry Zabrowski. Hey, Radio Wave.
Radio Waves Say Hello. That's Marcus Parks. I'm Ben Kissel. As you heard, that was Henry Zabrowski.
I was doing like a virgin, like a real virgin would.
Yeah, like an infant that was a failed abortion version of it, or...
You want to come over my house? I got this lace gloves on. Come on, who's that girl they say when I walk down the street?
Right.
Oh, please, for the love of God, stick it in my mound. Oh, come and split my dewy mound with that spear you got. You all know.
That's
you all.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna have to kill you.
That's I think that's how they attract pedophiles on that perverted justice site, and then it always ends up with, hey, I'm Chris
Real
Hansen.
virgin, Henry Zabrowski.
Yes, you are a virgin. I pray to God that you're a virgin, because the idea of you having sex is more horrific than anything I can imagine.
Oh, these spinely fingers have been all over a woman.
Holy Lord. All right. And you go trick-or-treating, and you get a bunch of different candies and things like that, and then you throw out the Starbursts or the Jolly Ranchers. No one likes a Jolly Rancher.
Well, no.
Anyway, what we're doing
kids
today...
do like Jolly Ranchers because they like sugar.
No.
That's what they like.
No.
We don't like Jolly Ranchers. We like adult candies, like a dark chocolate.
No.
Or like a pomegranate seed dipped in camellar, which is a type of white chocolate.
A Cadbury egg, too. If you're out there and you want all the kids in the neighborhood to love you and you want to have the coolest house around, Cadbury eggs are where it's at. More Cadbury eggs.
The promise is that by the time you're handing them out for fucking Halloween, Ben, they're like 6 months old.
That's fine. They get better with age.
Yeah, they keep.
They're unlike real eggs. In the Zabrowski house, I know Cadbury eggs were just called eggs. But
Yes.
believe it or not, they last longer than an actual
Omelets
chicken.
were disgusting.
Well, they actually sound pretty amazing. A Cadbury egg omelet. Anyway, what I'm saying is it's a grab bag. Today, instead of candy, we're giving you a grab bag of horror. So let's just...
It's kind of like, when they said when like you'd walk through the neighborhood in Halloween. I'm sorry, this is also American. I'm sorry for our non-American listeners, but you're fucked.
Why is that? They have Halloween all around the world, don't they?
Yeah, but it's more serious. They wear like cloaks, and then they all there's like a big pole, and they tie the strings around the pole, right? And then it's all about like Mother Earth or something.
No,
and
I think you're thinking of the Canadian New Year. That's what you're describing there.
Yes. But sometimes what they'll do is like a man will sit out in a costume and he'll have like a bowl of candy on his pants, right? Like it's sitting on the lap of his pants, and it says like, take only one. Right. And then you go to take one, and the guy goes like, oh, or you go to take one, he's got a hole cut at the bottom of the bowl, and his fucking hard, sticky pepperoni loaf is sticking up through that. All of the Jolly Ranchers and the candy canes.
And the strangest thing is, it's August 17th. So that's the one fun thing about Halloween. It's the only time of the year where we forget the fact that all of our neighbors are sociopaths and killers and secretly want us dead, and we just go take candy right from them.
Yeah.
It's very
so this
dangerous.
episode is like that. It's that dick speared candy bowl.
And it
Welcome
also
to Halloween Grab Bag. And I just want everybody to know we're going to make it extra Halloweeny today.
That's right.
Which I'm excited for.
Yeah. Just listen in. I'm going to be putting some little Halloweeny noises in there.
I love Halloween. Apples are poisoned, full of razor blades and things.
Yeah.
Bananas are bad.
Yeah.
Ooh, candy is
Ugly
good.
people are beautiful.
Strange. And beautiful people make themselves look ugly. Isn't it bizarre, everybody?
Well, let's start off with a good old-fashioned haunted house.
Now, this is a real possession story outside of Gary, Indiana. What I like about this story is that this is one of those where like cops walked into this place and they're like came out and they're like, there are straight up demons in there. Right. Like, cops have seen demons.
Gary, Indiana is also the name of the world's fattest vacuum salesman.
And this also happened in the neighborhood where the Jackson family grew up.
Ooh, no horror stories in that house.
And apparently the alleys are still haunted by the sound of whoosh.
And then just beautiful singing. That's everyone rips on Joe Jackson. He's made a great point for parental abuse. His children are exceptionally successful.
Oh,
We said this before. It shows that you can beat talent into your children. So I feel like everyone's being very lenient. That's why the new generation sucks.
Well, yes, we're going to start with this woman in Gary, Indiana, who appropriately is named LaToya.
Oh, interesting.
Very much so. LaToya Jackson, part of the Jackson family. For those of you who don't know, she was in Playboy. It was mildly arousing.
It was a little bit questionable, though, because she has the face of Michael. They sort of
she
merged.
looks like Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas,
Right.
but with huge, awesome torpedo bazongos.
Yes, and then a bizarre-looking Jackson-esque vagina.
So the woman was in this house in Gary, Indiana. Of course, she had a couple of kids, and she said that, quote, this was obviously demons, not just random spirits. There is a difference. She said, I know it was infested with demons. I know that for a fact. I spoke to a good friend of mine who is a clairvoyant. He's in New York, and he explained to me what was going on in the house.
When she says clairvoyant, she means homosexual.
Right. He's really in tune with other men. And also, when she says New York, people from Indiana actually think people from New York are more intelligent. They've never been here.
No.
I don't think that's true, but they also think we're grifters or sluts.
Or clairvoyants, yeah.
So a particularly scary bout with the demons had the family rushing to the emergency room as her name is LaToya Ammons, as her 9-year-old son was in the grips of possession. And Ammons has revealed that even physicians were terrified when the family got to the hospital. Her son, quote, walked up the wall and did a backwards flip and threw her into the wall and started headbutting her, and they had to grab him and hold her down. The doctor from the psych ward came over, naturally, and he said, that's not real, that's not human. No human can do what that little boy just did.
I don't think the people in Indiana have ever seen anyone do parkour before.
Absolutely. And what they didn't understand is they didn't include the boy at the very top when he got into the doctor's office, started going, showtime,
It's showtime.
and then started dancing all over the place to Mr. Vane playing on his boombox.
Oh, call him Mr. Vane.
So they also had reports of furniture being flung up against walls, of adults being, quote, choked to death by some supernatural force. The mother said that she was down in the basement where a lot of the activity happened. She was doing the laundry, and she said that she suddenly had the feeling of being choked from behind by some unknown force. Said she almost died.
Hardcore erotica.
Oh yeah.
The problem is that's why you also can't decorate your house with hanging scarves with apples tied to the bottom.
Yes.
I know that's a good Halloween decoration these days. I guess that's what the kids are doing in Gary, Indiana. But sometimes you'll walk through a shadowy room and just start randomly getting choked by scarves with apples tied at the bottom of them.
And I would like to go through these people's trash just to see how many bottles of Jack Daniels are actually in there. There's a good chance we're dealing with an alcoholic situation.
They saw many apparitions. They saw the shadow of a man, a black looming monster, a withered old lady with red eyes and a hood, and the house bled a clear, odorless oil from the walls, and the children inside the house would randomly convulse and chant satanic verses.
Oh, they just got one of those. They just got one of those self-painting houses. That's all that is.
Which is also very similar to what they said about the Amityville house.
Yeah.
Did the same exact thing. But apparently, the one thing that did happen is that a social worker came to this house and said that the kids believed the parents because they believed that the house was haunted, and so they think the kids may have just been playing along with the idea of what was going on in the house. But the mother and again, 2 police officers said that they saw something inside of that home.
And these are Gary, Indiana's fattest officers.
Yes. One officer actually said that he prides himself on being aggressive.
Really? Oh, that's exactly what we want out of our police force. I'm so happy.
That's the number one quality I look for in an officer. It's aggressive, and the next one is
bloodthirsty,
unpredictable.
Ooh, unpredictable.
Let's see here. On another occasion, LaToya said that her daughter and godson were in the basement, and she said that she felt like the kid said that he felt like something was stabbing him in the stomach. He was reading the Bible, and he said the more he read the Bible, the more it was stabbing and punching. Then they saw something fly across the room and land, quote, blam, like that.
Blam like that. Had to be a demon.
Yeah, had to be a demon.
That's great. And of course, the difference: demons were never people. That's the difference, right? They're only
Yes.
from hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, they are independent entities that attach themselves to human beings in order to torture them
And from what
to claim them for Satan.
From what I know of Gary, Indiana, the demons probably felt right at home because that place is a hellhole.
But at the same time, yeah, why would Satan want more people from fucking Indiana and hell? What Satan wants is the fucking Rolling Stones coming down to hell.
He's already got them.
Yes, he's got the stones, and he needs them on Earth to spread his message.
Yeah, because people are listening to the Stones now, and they start wiggling their hips, and that's and nothing makes me chafe more than seeing a bunch of people writhing and dancing and laughing.
All
They all
paraplegic.
should go to hell.
Yeah.
In another parallel to the Amityville horror case, they found swarms of dead horseflies on the porch, and every day she'd sweep it up, and the next day, there again.
More horseflies.
More horseflies. More
Isn't that
dead
something?
horseflies. Lights flickered, phones played up, television signals were scrambled and reverted to normal on a whim.
That's got to be aggravating.
That has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the meanest thing the demons do.
And of course, as most cases with possession, they got a priest involved in it. They got this
Right.
guy named Father Maginot. He said that he was only involved by chance. Just happened to be filling in for the usual chaplain at the Gary ER when one of the kids showed up. The backwards wall walking situation. Oh yeah. He said we were having our Bible study after Mass when I got the call saying.
I mean, do the voice right, Marcus.
We were having our Bible study after Mass when I got a call saying, "You're a Catholic priest. You do exorcisms. We need you to do one."
I'm more of with a pedophilic kind of priest. I don't like the
This is how-
exorcisms.
I'll finish the rest of the sentence. They went on to tell me that a little boy had just walked and glided backwards up a wall and flipped over to land on his feet. And I asked them, was it from the Jackson family? Because we had a boy like that a long time ago, and I tell you, I fixed him right up.
Yes, you did, and you made a great musician out of him. Thank you, molesting priest.
So Father Maginot, he was convinced that the reason behind the possession was because someone, possibly an ex-boyfriend, had put a hex on the mother, which was transferred over to the children.
Ooh,
Well, I'll remind you when I had my past life regression / soul cleansing, they found out that I had 3 curses put upon me. And I think that because that's what they talk about in circles, in magic circles, that curses are not necessarily just somebody getting Eye of Newt and boiling it into a big cauldron. Is it just sometimes concentrated negative thought, like when LaToya Ammons maybe set fire to his favorite Ravens jersey.
Right.
That rage that comes out of that moment could leave a hex on LaToya.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
that's true, and I would. He deserved it, being a Baltimore Ravens fan, living in Indiana. It's Colts country.
It's
I
not
believe.
about I've heard that it's not about the team. It's about the colors of the jersey sometimes.
Oh, if you're sort of in a gang.
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
So, of course, Henry mentioned earlier that cops came in and were scared shitless. One cop said that he took a picture on his iPhone of a certain area in which there was a dirt floor in this place, and he took a picture of the crucifix that they had set up in there, and he said that when he went later to check for the picture to show somebody, he said the picture had disappeared and his iPhone never behaved the same again.
Well, I have an iPhone 5, and it's majorly flawed. It just lost its battery in
My
a half
5S
hour.
is also not working
But
as well. So
am I right?
I think it's just the phone.
If he has an iPhone, and then you said dirt floor.
Dirt floor.
So we are dealing with more of your upper class Indiana.
Oh,
They actually have a floor.
yeah, they
That's
actually
phenomenal.
do have a floor. And in
Nice
fact,
dirt
when
floor.
some of the cops dug down into the floor because
They could dig into the floor.
Yeah, well, it's a dirt floor. Of course you could dig into
and
the
at
floor.
no point were they thinking maybe concrete would fix it.
No.
Maybe the demons are just coming up because you don't have a floor.
Maybe, but they thought maybe there's a body down there.
Oh,
maybe
what if
there's
there's
something that we can extricate.
Also, if I knew that there were dirt floors in Indiana and I was a homeless person, I would be an official, actual mole person.
Yeah.
Digging tunnels underneath the homes in Indiana so I could come up through the basements and have a place to sleep.
Yeah, are they doing that sort of like Hamas tunneling system? It's very, very possible, all the way from New York to Indiana, maybe.
It's very complicated.
Yeah.
But if anybody can do it, it's homeless people from Gary, Indiana.
Just put a little wood down, just anything.
In fact,
At least a rug.
Sure.
That's what I would do. I would give it a rug and a lamp and just say, it's a dirt living room.
Yeah.
well, what they found when they dug below, they found boys' socks with the ankle portion cut out, a fake fingernail, women's panties, a heavy corroded iron weight, a broken plastic shoehorn, and a red oval kettle lid.
I mean, that's just what you find in the ocean. That's what you find where anyone just litters. They've just been throwing stuff down on that dirt floor for years.
Well,
that's where my nail went, and she puts it back on.
Well, one cop, he said after, the cops were in there for a while, and they were hearing all kinds of weird shit, and he said, enough of this garbage. I'm getting out of here.
Whoa. What is he from? Is it a Boston cop?
No. Well, I mean, that's just how I imagine.
That's the Indiana accent.
Yeah.
That's a good form of the Indiana accent.
Oh, I see.
Enough of this.
garbage. I'm from Gary, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
So he left the property. He said he went to a gas station and made a phone call. He said, I have my police radio, my squad car dash AM/FM radio, my police cell, and my iPhone. He said
a
I was
lot of communication at once.
Yeah,
so much.
And I imagine if your girlfriend is looking for you on each one of those methods of communication, that you're gonna get annoyed.
No, then you just be like, oh, I was at Latoya's house and the demon messed up my phone, baby. I swear to God, it was the demon, baby.
See, I was looking at the pictures I had taken on my iPhone when I made this call, and all of a sudden, this growling voice came from my AM/FM radio. It said,
Rush Limbaugh here.
it said,
You out of here.
Get out of here.
you out of here. Possibly,
Out of here.
You out of here. Hey, was it a dead umpire? What happened?
It does also sound like
You out of here. I think he was just listening to a baseball game and the signal was getting all wavy.
Yep. He said
the
then there was a.
what's his name from Mortal Kingdom instead of come over here.
Oh, Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Out of here.
You out of here. Finish him.
He said there was a lot of garbled other stuff in static.
Just sounds like he's listening to Bad AM.
To be honest, of this whole, the most interesting thing about this whole story is that very rarely in a haunted case do you get testimony from police officers.
Yeah. Yes.
And so this was, if you go ahead and read the article that this came out, and we'll put it up on the Facebook page, this article is really awesome because it's it's close as you're going to get to a documented haunting scenario because these cops and doctors and all of them came forward and said like crazy shit was happening this entire time.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. Yeah, lawyers, cops, and priests in the Midwest, those are probably the most respected people around.
I would admit
Absolutely.
that. There was speaking of, we mentioned the oil earlier. And it said that one of the women in the house touched the oil, and it said that there was a seemingly spontaneous wound or effect is like a blister after a burn. Father Maginot said her whole finger had this gray-white color, a death color. She wondered after if it maybe there had been a bug that had bitten her, but she didn't see anything or feel anything.
Greasy walls. Very interesting.
And he was like, and of course he was like, oh, you know who you're going to need to fix that finger, huh? Some of Father Maginot's beautiful saliva. Let me just, oh, so tiny. It's just like it's so tiny and pink. I like to just suck on it.
Suck on it like...
You done? You gonna come? I mean...
Yeah, sucking on it like Grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
So the family said that the final straw, which eventually drove them out of the house, they said they were watching TV and a bottle of Febreze floated up, moved in the air before being hurtled into Latoya's room and smashing a lamp. And in the aftermath, they saw the shadow of a man.
I just feel like this house has a Jerry curl on top of it. I think that's what's happening here.
So a clairvoyant who had visited the house told Latoya she saw hundreds of demons in the basement.
Whoa.
And she told her to anoint the house with oil and put down salt to seal the gateways to demons.
Just, again, floor. Put down some floor.
Put down a floor could maybe help toss some crosses down there. Get
Sure.
a cross on a rug.
That would be great. Wow.
So finally, the exorcism came. Of course, she had moved out by this time. And what we know about exorcism, or what we know about possessions, you go back to our episode Hostage to the Devil. We talk about a few different cases of possession. The person, the demon is attached to the person. It is not attached to the house. And this is also the case with a lot of hauntings. When people, they'll think like, okay, this house is haunted, they'll move somewhere else. But the demon...
Yes, the spirit or whatever, the entity always, a lot of times reacts to one person in the family.
Yeah.
Because if they talk about like modern theories about ghosts and hauntings are that it is a connection between lingering energy and the operating system that is our consciousness. That our consciousness is a remote thing around our heads, and that it's basically like the cloud, and that entities or energies that are left behind and like sort of get involved with that and create these apparitions and create like poltergeist activity. They create like audio hallucinations and visual hallucinations. And so that's why, I mean, scientifically, that's why the demon thing could be real.
So it's like a beer can hat. So like, so you got the hat, and that's like your main energy, or your main core, and then you got the two beer cans, and that's the energy. Yeah, and then they turn you into a demon.
Pretty much.
Isn't that fun?
So, of course, the demon was exorcised eventually, and new tenants moved into the house, and they have had no problems whatsoever.
Except for living in Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, with the dirt floor.
The school system's fucked. The transportation system's fucked.
Doesn't exist.
Food is terrible. The weather's bad.
Yes.
It's a bad town.
But did you know the Jackson 5 actually grew up in Gary, Indiana? So that's kind of cool.
And they said that the haunting stopped after the priest sealed up the portal with salt. And the priest, he accosted the landlord. He warned the landlord. He told landlord Charles Reed, he said, if we don't deal with this now properly, this will not go away. This will close the portal and seal it.
But he was like, get out of here, pervert. Quit yelling at me in my living room. Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, sure. All it takes for you to leave is to just throw down some salt. Fine. Just fucking do it and get out of here.
Do what you got to do.
His children's semen-soaked pants off of my couch. I go down to that demon basement.
So we're going to stay on the subject of Satan here.
Wait, first thing, can we get a Halloween breakdown?
Halloween breakdown!
Halloween!
That was the breakdown?
That was the breakdown.
Oh, okay. Let's not do that again.
So we're going to move on to a satanic ritual now.
Ooh, cool.
So, in this satanic ritual, this is a satanic ritual out of Mexico. This is not possession. This is much like a lot of the other satanic ritual type stuff that we've covered. This is just plain old torture disguised as Satanism.
And I want to say, as soon as you said that, Marcus, the largest fly I've ever seen just appeared, and it is terrifying me. Ooh. So that's the sign the devil's about. Ooh, very good.
Or is it Vincent Price?
Ooh, I don't know.
Help me. Help me.
Vincent.
Help me. Help me! You never seen The Fly? Come on.
I know. Yeah.
You're stupid, Ben. You're stupid.
I saw The Fly. Good God.
The original.
Now let's get back to the story of Maria del Carmen del Rodriguez del Garcia del Fernandez del Martirpanto del Rios.
I love her.
So her, together with her sister and two brothers, as well as her parents, were said to stage a satanic ritual in the town of Znebahwalakakalokalahata.
Yes. That means bird, rhino, dog, snake.
I thought it meant
in
Gary.
Old Mexican.
Might mean Gary, Indiana in Spanish as well.
So as the six danced and cavorted and called on Satan to bring the world to an end.
That's
and
fun.
Satan, will you please come and change out room 316 for me? I am sick of how gross the pillows can be. Oh, Satan.
That is a nice thing to ask the devil to do.
So they were
come take over your hotel maid job.
Right. Well, let's say they own the place, huh?
Yeah.
Come on.
So everyone said that everyone was told to close their eyes so they wouldn't look upon Satan when he arrived.
Never open your eyes because to see Satan not only 5 feet from you, but he's the one squeezing in the bathroom. Oh, Teresa, you will go blind.
I've heard that. That's true.
But the 5-year-old in the room, this is when the child comes into the story. The child of Maria del Carmen Garcia Rios. He was too scared to close his eyes because, of course, there's a lot of commotion going on.
And
he
I've
doesn't
never
know
heard
what's
of that.
going on.
I've never heard of the too scared to close your eyes scenario.
I mean, I think that's a very good. That's smart. If you're see, you got to get your surroundings.
Yeah, you got to know what's going on.
Know who's about to attack you.
I heard that Wade Boggs never blinked.
I've heard that as well, and that is 100%.
That makes a good baseball player. Never blink.
Never once, because you blink once, your eyes get used to it. Next thing you know, they're blinking all the time and maybe even sleeping.
Next thing you never know when you're going to miss a frozen rope coming down between second and third.
Absolutely.
So, the mother and the sister in the middle of the ritual, displaying some real quick thinking here, grabbed a spoon and gouged out the boy's eyes.
Ah, that was smart.
And this is the problem too. If this was some sort of, I guess if they had all went to some sort of like friendly chef meeting or some sort of fun culinary store, they would have had a melon baller.
Right.
For them.
Yeah, and a melon baller, really one of the laziest inventions that's ever been invented.
Yeah, just use a spoon.
Use a spoon, ball it up.
I don't know. Have you tried a melon baller? I'd say give a melon baller a go.
I don't like a melon baller because the balls are too small. I like a big piece of melon.
No one's telling Ben how big his melon slices are going to be.
That's right. I'll put my whole face in it.
You just eat melons like Shrek.
Yeah.
Just pick up a melon and just eat it like it's a fucking apple. You fucking
I eat it like
giant.
every cartoon hippo eats. That's how I eat my melons.
So let's move on now to a mysterious disappearance. Now this one.
Can we get a Halloween breakdown?
Halloween breakdown. Ooh, that was a good one.
Halloween breakdown.
But so that's the end of that story. They got the kids out.
They gouged the kids out, and they were all sentenced to 30 years each.
Okay.
Of course, because the kid did not die.
No,
we might be doing.
That's what they said. It becomes it's a very specific crime called making an hors d'oeuvre out of your son.
Oh, I hate when they do that. Yeah.
We may be covering this in a future episode, but in my satanic ritual researches, I found that a lot of satanic rituals of this kind take place in Mexico.
This is not shocking.
It's not shocking.
And a lot of weed is smoked in Colorado.
Yes, because it's just so insanely out of the. I mean, again, this is a defamation of Satanism. This is not what Satanism is about. I also, I don't want. I'm in risk of getting a nerd alert here, but I bought the Book of Thoth tarot deck, Aleister Crowley's tarot deck that he created, and the book that he wrote to go along with it. And so, I'm
nerd alert. Good.
I will do my own Mexican satanic rituals from my own home here in Los Angeles.
Henry, can I just recommend getting a friend while you're out there?
I don't need friends. I have ghosts and aliens and serial killers.
Please, God.
So we're going to move on to the Tara Calico disappearance. Ooh. And this is, I'm sure you've seen pictures of Tara Calico. There's always, you always see on the internet those lists of like pictures taken right before somebody's death.
Right.
Yes, this is very fucked up. When I read about this, because I've seen this picture before, and then I just never really went through the details for it. Because honestly, there's a thing to me. What's scariest to me is the idea of these mysterious disappearances, where you hear about them in America all the time. As we've covered them before, and Coast to Coast is specifically obsessed with them. But the idea that and it happens pretty often, where you're with somebody and people just disappear. They just go. And this is, imagine if instead they just disappear, then you get some clues as to where they are, and the clues are even more disgusting.
Right, the old Irish goodbye. I like that a lot of these killers, just the time to take the picture, that's got to be awkward and odd. You know?
Yeah. Oh, that was blurry. Wait, can you just? Can
you look scared?
Angle your face more towards me.
Right.
That would be great. It says yeah, because you got a double chin in this one. Right. You don't want me to put that one up.
Right.
So, on September 20th, 1988, near Bella, New Mexico, Tara Calico, 19, was biking to school, and she was known as a long-distance biker. She'd bike about 18 miles per day.
Oh, so very attractive, probably a tight butt. We can figure that out.
Oh,
She's 15 years old.
It's 19.
Oh, okay, yeah. Game on.
Well, not anymore, Henry.
Oh,
it's off. Everything about this sexual... You ruined my...
Yummy.
Okay.
I'm going to take her. I'm going to steal her.
Well, you can have her. It's like you licked all the cheese at the party. You get all of it now.
You guys don't want these olives? Because I've been sucking on them.
So, after she left that day, the family never saw Tara again. The day after she disappeared, her mother, Patty Doyle, found a cassette tape by the band Boston by the side of the road near Brugge Street, which is a few miles southwest of their house. Now, she was known to listen to her Walkman, specifically Boston, quite a bit.
Nothing gets you going like Boston.
Oh, no, not at all. So later, they found part of a Sony Walkman, which was the same model that belonged to Tara, along Highway 47 near the John F. Kennedy campground, 19 miles from Calico's house, just a little further than she planned to bike that day.
Ah, but they didn't find the Schwinn, huh?
They did not find the Schwinn.
No.
They didn't find the bike, and they found nothing from her.
Well, I think the Schwinn is more important in this situation because you can't sell a woman online, but you can sell a bike.
So what they found, though, the most promising lead, but also the most frustrating, they found a picture depicting what some say is Tara and another missing area resident, thought to be a kid named Michael Henley Jr., who had disappeared in 1988 while he was hunting turkeys with his father an hour from Albuquerque.
Now, the picture is incredibly haunting because basically they found it out on the ground, and it's a picture of her. And if you look at pictures of her before, it looks really close to her, if it is her. But they're bound in the back of a van. We'll put up the picture on the Facebook page, and it's horrifying. They're about to be dead or sold into prostitution.
Yeah, and there is definitely some evidence that it is Tara. Some people say it isn't, but this is a very bizarre detail in this photo is that there is a paperback book sitting next to her, and it said friends say that the paperback book, the author, is one of Tara's favorite authors.
Ah, so it's probably her.
Yeah, it's probably her. But this photograph, it's also creepy how the photograph was found. A woman found the photograph in a parking lot outside of a junior food store in Port St. Joe, Florida.
Okay.
Half the country away. So it's possible that whoever abducted this woman and this boy was just driving around the country in a van with the two of them bound and gagged in the back.
Then he was probably looking at the picture, masturbating, and then he came, and then he forgot the picture. That's sad.
Which doesn't really make any sense. Why are you masturbating in the picture when you got the real deal Holyfield in the back of your van?
I mean, he probably unloaded him at some point.
And there are various theories as to how Tara Driscoll died not Tara Driscoll, Tara Calico. There's a lot of theories as to what happened to her. Some people say that she was killed in a hit and run by a couple of boys that had been harassing her for a few days before that. They would drive next to her in their truck, yell things at her, be just particularly aggressive. And some people think that they may have hit her and killed her and buried her body somewhere.
Well, apparently they've never seen I Know What You Did Last Summer, because that woman's going to come back and murder him.
There's another problem with it, is that the boy, they think it's Michael Henley, his remains, though, were found in 1990, not far from where he disappeared, and investigators believe that he just wandered off and died from exposure because he was hunting turkey in a national park with his father.
You're going to be pretty brazen to go after somebody with a gun who is looking to kill. That's not the easiest person to pick for your victim, I wouldn't think.
And I would say it's especially dangerous if you wear I'm going to whip. Oh, you know what'll be fun today, Brian? Let's put on our kidnapping turkey costume.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. We dress up as turkeys. We still kids? Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's fucking great. Benjamin Franklin loved the turkey. No fucking way, Craig.
He did. He wanted to make it the national bird. Yeah, Craig.
There is some other evidence that witnesses saw a woman resembling Tara with a group of men who seemed to be restraining her on a South Florida beach just days before the photo was found.
So maybe they should have. You stop it, maybe. You know, I love all these witnesses. Yeah,
it's more important to be a witness than a hero.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But another detail is that later on down the line, it was like when this case got reopened in 2001, pictures started showing up of the little boy in the original photo from his class picture with a pen drawn fake tape mark over his mouth, just like the picture in the original photograph.
Yeah.
Right.
They said it was an imitation of the 1989 Polaroid. But on the other hand, this was in August of 2009. So this picture had already been floating around the internet quite a bit at this point.
Right.
So it's probably just some dumb, sick motherfucker.
I wonder if that guy shook it like a Polaroid picture after he took it.
I wonder if he did.
Kinda got a little
like
wiggle.
That's the Outcast.
Well, that was
can't-
2009. I mean, that would have been out for a few years by that point.
I just can't believe the guy didn't take the Boston. You know, I feel like the guy would go out there and kill a bunch.
Because he's probably looking through tapes and he's just like, Credence, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what's this? Ooh, is this? Ooh, my Sharona. Yeah, taking that one. Boston. I can't rape to Boston. Throw that back out into the dirt.
Yeah, Boston's. It's too good. It's too good feeling.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. You can't do something that evil when you're listening to Boston. Impossible.
No, all you want to do is ride down the highway with the top down.
Yeah.
You got a girl with golden curls sitting in your lap, and you're driving, and it's dangerous.
Right, and
But
you know
it's romantic.
Yeah, and you're fat. Sure, if your fat goes over your belt, but you still feel muscular.
So there's one woman who's not giving up on the case. Her name is Melinda Esquivel. She was a former classmate of Tara's, and apparently she's making a documentary that is executive produced by R.J. Mitty, who played Walt Jr. on Breaking Bad.
Hey, there we go.
And that's the pop culture connection to that.
There it is. There it is. Is it almost time for another breakdown?
Halloween breakdown.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some good old-fashioned Men in Black.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, I love this story so much.
We got Dr. Herbert Hopkins in September of
Now, let's talk about-
1976.
To be honest, we should do an entire episode about the Men in Black.
Absolutely.
And we will. I just love this story so much, and we probably should have saved it, but it's great for Halloween. This is, if you want to properly dress up like a Men in Black for Halloween, this is the way to do it, the way this man is described. But the big thing is, so Men in Black, just a quick breakdown, is that the stories that are involving Men in Black usually involve men who come to an area that has had a recent UFO sighting or crash or landing, right? Or some sort of experience. And they are men in black suits that act as if they don't know how to be human beings.
Yeah.
They're honest. They're very strange, pointed faces, weird laughter, weird type things. They ask questions about you and about what you know about the UFOs, and then they leave.
But they're not
And
even.
no
always,
one knows what the fuck they are.
It's not even necessarily paranormal. For a fact, the Men in Black were there after the plane went down over what was it, Long Island, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Weird stuff. So this guy, Dr. Herbert Hopkins, he was a doctor and a hypnotist. He was acting as a consultant on an alleged UFO teleportation case in Maine. So one evening, Herbert's hanging out at the house alone. The telephone rings, and a man that says he is the vice president of the New Jersey UFO Research Organization, he asked if he could come by, visit Dr. Hopkins, and just talk about certain details on the case. Mm-hmm. And he
Now,
said,
normally you imagine the guy who's the vice president of the New Jersey UFO Research Organization would be like, he'd show up and be like, hey, it's going on. How you doing, buddy? You help put him in the air conditioning? Hey, yeah, I saw the UFO too, huh? Yeah, what about them giants, huh? Oh.
So Herbert goes back to the back porch, turn on the light because he's out in the country, turns on the light so the vice president of the New Jersey UFO Research Organization can easily find the house.
Right.
But he said that as soon as he turned on the light, a man was already this guy was already climbing up the porch steps.
Right. So then in his head, he's like, oh, if I play this right politically, I could become president.
This is 1978. No cell phone. So this guy had to have called from a landline somewhere. And at the time, Dr. Hopkins said he felt no particular surprise. He said the man was dressed in a black suit, a black hat, black tie, black shoes, and a white shirt. He said, I thought he looked like an undertaker. But he said the clothes were immaculate, suit unwrinkled, trousers sharply creased. Mm-hmm. But when the man took off his hat, said that he was completely hairless, not only bald, but he also had no eyebrows and no eyelashes. His skin was dead white, but his lips were bright red.
So he's a Mormon.
Yes. Yes, this is actually a very obscure form of Jehovah's Witness.
Yes.
As well. It's called the Jokers. They're the Joker Society of the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Dr. Hopkins said at one point in the conversation, the man in black, brushed his lips with his gray suede gloves, And the doctor said that the lips were smeared and the gloves were stained with lipstick.
Yeah, so he had no lips, and so in order to pretend to have lips, he put lipstick on himself. It's like it's like aliens who have no concept of what people are, and so they're like, the lips are red. What is that lip goo? Can I have some? It's like, how are my lips? And they're like, Klaxor, if you were a Klaxor right now, I would be making love to your beautiful, beautiful mouth.
I mean, I'm from
Now go
Wisconsin.
scare Dr. Hopkins.
Yeah.
So
being from Wisconsin, I will say it also reminds me of a lot of white Scandinavian girls. Very thin lips on these women.
Extremely so.
Yeah.
So there were other strange goings on while the man in black was visiting Dr. Hopkins. The man in black said that he just stated, he out of the blue said, "You have 2 coins in your pocket." And of course, he did have 2 coins in his pocket.
He did, huh?
So he asked the doctor to put the coins in his hand, and he said to watch the coin. Don't watch me.
Right.
Don't watch me. Watch the coin. And he said as he watched, the coin started to go out of focus, and then it gradually vanished. And the visitor told him,
Neither you nor anyone else on this planet will ever see that coin again.
and then the man rose unsteadily to his feet and said slowly,
My energy is running low. Must go now. Goodbye.
Oh my God, he's an old
Walked
magician.
falteringly to the door and descended the outside steps uncertainly, one at a time. Which is him just I'm getting one step, stepping like a human. Don't say it out loud, Klaxor. Don't say it up. 1 second
Oh, my
step.
God.
This is difficult. I'm used to being in my goo cylinder.
So he's a vaudevillian magician suffering from MS.
yeah.
Yes.
And of course, when the man started walking out to the driveway, Dr. Hopkins saw a bright bluish white light, much brighter than a normal car lamp. And he neither saw nor heard anything. And of course, he was very scared. He complied with his visitor's instruction, which was to erase the tapes of the hypnotic sessions he was conducting with regard to the case in Maine.
All right.
And he had no
what
further
happens, so Klaxor walks out, he hears the bip bip. Like he hits like the key button to a fucking UFO, just like a Toyota Corolla brand UFO in
Right.
champagne color, just like parked in the handicap spot. He just climbs into it and leaves.
Pretty cool, though. Yeah. That's
Sorry, I've got to go. I'm double parked. It's an interdimensional craft. It doesn't matter where I park.
could be triple.
Anyways, I will see you.
And just so you know, the New Jersey UFO Research Organization, no such institution exists.
Whoa.
See, this is the problem with this whole UFO genre is that I can call anywhere and just be like, "Hello, this is Dr. Henry Zabrowski. I'm from the National Institute of Alien Wardrobe Services." And then eventually someone will be like, "Oh yes, of course, yes. No, I know you, Dr. Zabrowski. It's Dr. Zabrowski.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't go to 9 years of fake medical school to be called Mr. Zabrowski."
All right. Here we go.
So, but I guess it sounds like, I don't know, I'm getting like a weird alarm on my phone going off. It seems like it's time for a Halloween breakdown. Harry is your best friend, Larry, having fun.
She is.
It's a Halloween breakdown.
Halloween
I'm
breakdown.
having one.
Oh my God! And yes, indeed, she did. Mop boy.
All right, we're going to go for a trio of corpse stories here.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, yeah, because no Halloween is complete without a fetid, rotting corpse.
Oh, I want to go to a restaurant that has that on the menu. A trio of corpse stories.
Trio of corpse stories, and it's just like this one is called Mr. Henderson's finger.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so is it like ham?
It's just a hot. It's
Like
just a
finger?
hot dog. It's
a hot dog.
Yeah, it's a hot dog.
So we're going to start with our first corpse story is going to be about a Florida teen that has shades of psycho in it, maybe even shades of Geen on this one.
Okay.
He was arrested on a homicide charge after cops found his mother's rotting corpse inside the trailer home that they shared for more than a week after she went missing.
The weird thing is, it's Miami, so she was still alive.
This woman, her name is Tamara Davis. She was 42. Her son, Tyrese Landrum, was 15 years old. Of course, Davis, she went missing on August 21st. She disappeared from the home from her boyfriend's home at the end of a long night of drinking.
Whoa.
Yes, her boyfriend said that she was heavily intoxicated. And neighbors say that Cassiano, that's the boyfriend, and the woman's son continued to live in the house for the next 10 days while the rancid smell spread throughout the neighborhood.
Cassiano is a pretty cool name, though.
Yeah, Marcos Cassiano.
Oh, Marcos. I'll date him. He's the king of the trailer park.
I mean, Marcos is also like the perfect mom's new boyfriend name. It's like Marcos or like Seth. You know, it's just like, yeah, whatever, Seth. You're not my dad.
Yeah, Stefan, something like that.
The smell was so bad that there were up to 20 buzzards sitting in the tree outside.
Getting ready to eat, huh?
Brought there by the smell. When they asked the son what the smell was, he said, probably a dead cat. Or a raccoon or whatever.
You know how dead cats are. They're always everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're shaped like my mother. Did I say that?
That's great.
And he said that sometimes cats or raccoons, they get trapped under the house, they die, and we just kind of leave them there and wait for the smell to go away.
So those buzzards are just like, when are we going to eat? When does it happen? It's like when a new shoe comes out and everyone waits outside a Foot Locker for the night. That's insane. They wait.
So let me say. It smells like dead mother.
Yeah, that's gotta be.
Yeah. Do we want to go get it? Do we go get it? It's like, I don't know. I haven't learned to open a door yet. Have you, Larry? He's just like, I hope I have. We said no more cartoon vultures here.
I agree. And maybe that's how evolution began.
Absolutely.
That for the vulture. They'll have thumbs in no time. People keep on dying in trailer parks in Miami.
So the next story up involves maggots coming in from above. A family was plagued by maggots falling into their kitchen, and they were horrified to discover that the source was a decomposing body in the apartment upstairs.
I actually think that's a good, at least there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
It's better than maggots just hanging out.
Yeah.
But if this was fucking Iron Chef, they would have learned to cook with them in 9 different ways in a bunch of different flavor stylings.
Yeah, they should have played Survivor House and not been allowed to leave. Eat the maggots.
Yep. The mother said, we looked through the window, and I've never seen anything like it. There were flies coming out of the window above my head, and then there was a breeze of air inside, and the smell was horrendous. I almost threw up. I called the police straight away.
Right.
The police came over. They broke into the apartment upstairs, and they found a decaying body which had been laying in there for a month.
Man, flies got it good, because let's say she did get sick and she threw up. More food. More fly food.
More fly food. And the maggots were falling into the kitchen.
Right. Yeah, right on all the steak and Frito-Lays.
Quite very awful. So the last corpse story that we're going to cover, and this is a fascinating one here because it involves one of the biggest gatherings of corpses in the history of the world, Jonestown.
Oh, well, right.
Oh, yeah. Man, can you, this fucking duty to have to like show up, first of all, be shipped to South America to do it, and just being like, can't we just get, guys, I don't want to be like racist or anything, but isn't South America like the hive of maids?
Right. But they're all over here, so we got to go over there and take care of the body. Leave them. Leave the body. Let Earth take care of it,
Yes, absolutely. Let the life cycle take care of it.
Right.
Simba, that's what Simba would have wanted.
I agree, yeah. Why can't you just put tombstones where they're dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that a lot of people don't really think about, and I've really never thought of it before. And anytime there are a lot of bodies anywhere, like let's say Katrina, ton of bodies around Katrina, somebody's got to clean that up.
Well, I mean, every tragedy is a benefit for somebody. So if you're in the body business, Katrina was a hell of a day for you.
Oh yeah.
Well, I will say this. So to be honest, my cousin who works at the Secret Service, part of what the Secret Service did right after 9/11, part of their job was they were a part of the recovery crew. And so my cousin's job was to go, basically what they did for 9/11 is that they would airlift the rubble out to a dump in Jersey, and they put on these gigantic spacesuits.
Hazmats,
and dug through the rubble looking for body parts.
And so
that's
you
like what they did.
You know, there's some funeral home dude who was just like, yeah, they never thought my idea for party bus funeral homes was a good idea until now. I can put 30, 40 corpses in my party bus funeral home
all it
mover.
took was a 9/11. I hope there's 9 more.
Yeah. Party bus hearses, come on down.
Well, apparently the 193rd Infantry Brigade, they are the branch of the Army that's involved and tasked with cleaning up bodies.
So they say like, no, I knew him. I knew that guy. I knew that guy. So they just go, that's the perfect position to be in. If you're in the military, you're guaranteed to live. You're picking up the dead.
Yeah, you're there after the fact.
Wow.
Yeah. So they thought, of course, the identification process on this was next to impossible. Remember, there are 913 bodies.
Right.
And only a few of them had the homemade ID bracelets because that's what they wanted to do. Some of them, thought far enough ahead that there's going to be a lot of corpses here. It's going to be hard to identify us, so I'd better put on an ID bracelet. So
Great
my
thinking,
family,
Margaret. How about we just leave? Huh? How about we just go?
And they didn't get to the bodies until 4 days after the mass suicide. And so the bodies were extremely bloated. They said that the heads resembled those of severely hydrocephalic children. And remember, this is in South America. This is in a tropical climate.
Oh, right.
A tropical climate will cause a body to bloat and to decompose much faster than, say, if this happened in the Mojave Desert.
Oh, they're sucking
And the
in all
bodies
the...
were covered in parrots.
Yeah.
Which is
And that's
also
kind of
very
fun.
difficult to get through.
Yes, they said that the skin color of almost every victim was a dark blue-black, which made identifying by race impossible.
It was a purple people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a weird thing about it, is they said that the only person that remained recognizably Caucasian was Jim Jones himself.
Jim Jones.
He was one of the...
also paying. He wore makeup.
Yeah. He probably killed himself in an air-conditioned type room.
Oh,
don't you
and
think?
that new Jonestown documentary is fantastic.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. And it seemed, well, didn't Jim Jones shoot himself?
Did he do the shoot?
Yes.
Yeah, he shot. So
He took the poison and then shot himself in the head.
So I guess there was more room for the water to leak out, so he didn't get the bloat.
Yeah, and this is this account where I got all of this information from this is an account by one of the soldiers who was tasked with going and cleaning up all of these bodies.
Right.
And he actually did make a very good point here, in which. Jim Jones, his entire message was bringing black and white together, equality.
Yes.
That's what he started.
Are you
going to
say that they ended up a color that brought black and white together?
Except for Jim Jones. They all ended up being the
not
same
a good point.
color.
That is not a good point. They're all dead, Marcus.
It is irony, sir.
I guess
Oh
the
my
biggest
God.
thing that we could have learned from Martin Luther King Jr. is that when you're dead, everybody's fucking purple.
Here's what he says.
Everyone
Here's
is
what he says.
purple when you're dead.
Perhaps he explains it better than I do. I will read from his paper. He says, "It was as if the members of the People's Temple finally achieved a form of equality in death that the evil pastor who masterfully orchestrated their demise did not share. Jim Jones, who preached racial equality from pulpits in Indianapolis to Ukiah and San Francisco all of his life, in the end became the only person in his flock that did not achieve it."
We're all purple when we're dead.
This is the problem.
That's
and
nice.
this is why we can't have people with BAs in poetry in the infantry.
Exactly. Good Lord.
And so they said the task of identifying the bodies was even worse than placing the bodies into the bags, because when you're identifying bodies, if you're in the military, everyone's got the dog tags, easy to identify.
Sure.
But these people, they had to go through their pockets. And, and so all these bodies are pretty much liquefied.
Right.
And they said at this point, millions of eggs had been laid in all the bodies. And they said that maggots covered the entire area of the dead.
Well, shake them off, and then you got yourself a pocket watch. Not bad.
That's the problem. Yeah, this is a pickpocket's dream, but even in the end, you can't.
It's
That's
gross.
the other thing.
Yeah.
There was also a team of Cockney pickpockets there that were using it for training purposes.
Exactly.
Which was said, but you can just scare them off with a broom. They're scared of brooms.
Well, yeah, they worked did most of their training on corpses. So if you're alive, you can kind of scare them a little bit.
Look here, mister. If you just play with the hands, the rings just fall off the melty fingers.
So of course, when they tried to pick up the bodies and put them into body bags, they started with the simplest method, which is just picking it up and putting it in there.
Right.
Unfortunately, though, the bodies were so decomposed by this point that when they picked them up, the heads and the limbs pretty much just fell off.
Light lifting, light load. That's not bad.
And they said when that happened...
I mean, that's what you're going for with the pulled pork, but that's not what you want to be happening to your Aunt Martha.
No, I don't think you're allowed to eat purple people.
They said when this happened, a foul, thick fluid would stream from the body part, being held by the hapless soldier, and an even larger amount would flow from the torso as it landed on the ground. And because the bodies were in such close proximity to one another, it wasn't long before the soil in Jonestown became a muddy mixture of dirt and body fluids.
And that's where we got plum trees from.
Yeah.
But what is the term felching? Isn't that the term felching?
Felching is
Felching.
It involves semen and buttholes and straws.
Yeah.
I'm looking this up.
Well, don't image search it.
No. Oh, yes. Felching is a sexual practice involving the act of orally sucking semen out of the anus of one's partner.
Yeah.
There's something else that it's like sexual, but with body fluids.
Well, Bundy
Sex
was
acts
really
with
into
dead body fluids.
Bundy was really into a corpse around this time, it seems like. He would go back
Munging.
week.
Yeah.
Munging?
Munging, that's what it is. Yeah. You're right, Henry.
I mean, you're wrong about that. I don't know what's more disgusting
I'm just saying,
anymore.
again, this is another example. If you sent the right person over there, they would have loved it. This is called munging. Go to.
They would have had sex with all the corpse. They would have had sex with them. The corpse would still be there, but covered in semen.
This is the term here. You go to a graveyard with 4 of your buddies, dig up a fresh female corpse, and have a gang bang.
Are you telling me it's
Afterwards,
gay if
one
you
of
have
them-
sex with a male corpse? That's
No, that makes you gay. Afterwards, one of them puts their mouth over the vagina, and then someone jumps in the stomach, shooting all the common maggots into the person's mouth, and it's called munging.
that is one of the more erotic things I've ever heard. Thank you.
Isn't that fun?
That is fun.
So it took an hour just to identify 10 bodies, the first hour. And then around hour number 2, they were making about the same amount of progress. There were 913 bodies to go through. So about hour 3, some of the guys on the ground, they called up the communication center, and they just said, tell HQ we need snow shovels.
Get snow shovels, and why can't you just number them 1 through whatever 900 and just call them lunatic? Here's your lunatic. Back. You're burying your lunatic. Here's your lunatic. I mean, they wanted to be 1 anyway.
Yeah.
You know, be like, here's your lunatic mother. Which one is she? I don't know, but she's one of the lunatics.
So how
And
they
then also snow shovels, and then one jackass was just like, snow shovels? Hey, it can't be snowing in South America. Like, no, for the fucking rotting bodies, Rodney.
But Rodney's funnier though.
I guess I've always been a little slow.
Yeah, that's why he's on corpse duty.
So 6 or 8 soldiers. This is how they got each individual body. They would have 6 or 8 soldiers on each side of the body, 3 or 4 on each side, and they put the snow shovel underneath the body. They lifted in unison about a foot or so off of the ground. 2 other soldiers then slid an open body bag under the suspended corpse. The snow shovels were lowered, and the remains were gently deposited into the body bag. They did that 913 times.
It reminds me. It makes me think of an Italian pizzeria. The way they got those big.
It's so funny. I was just thinking about burrata, which is a baby mozzarella, which is like that. But it's kind of soft and hard on the outside, but all gooey in the middle.
And you gotta flip it up and down a little bit. Ooh, yeah.
So, but this did have some. This wasn't as easy as it sounds.
I think this is the most disgusting thing that's ever made both Henry and I hungry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm literally thinking about pizza right now.
I am hungry. I am
starving. I need to eat, so I'm so fucking hungry. In fact, while you guys were talking about munging, I was like, do I want a burger or a burrito?
Well, a burrito.
Yeah, because it's kind of like gushers. You know what I mean? The big ones.
Yeah, real big ones.
Oh, do they have big gushers? They got to.
No, I think they've just got the regular
gushers
size.
The size of a foot-long sub sandwich. Oh, and just shoot all that fucking jelly liquid down your throat every time you bite into it.
Wow, we are a couple of foodies. This is a whole new show, everybody.
So this wasn't always an easy process either. Every time they pulled it up, body fluids would flow freely from the orifices and break the skin. Sometimes the head, which was swollen to twice its normal size, slipped from the shovel and fell to the earth with a thud.
And then you got to leave it there. Or you use the 5-second rule.
And so at the end of it, this is one of the funniest. I laughed about this for a good 30 seconds. This is one of the funniest things that I have ever read in my life. Because, of course, when you're around such horrible things, eventually the gallows humor comes out.
Right.
Now, I didn't know this.
I wouldn't know anything about gallows humor.
No.
Now, I didn't know this about Jim Jones, but apparently he kept a chimpanzee named Mr. Muggs. This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. He kept a chimpanzee named Mr. Muggs, and it's said that sometimes they locked children inside of Mr. Muggs's cage when they were bad.
Oh, that's
Cool.
terrifying.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah,
You want to go in the monkey room?
Yeah, I do actually.
But isn't the jungle like one big monkey room? We've got a very small monkey room.
Yeah.
And so, of course, Jim Jones, he was humane enough to just shoot the monk and to shoot the chimpanzee before before the festivities began.
I think that's a reward,
to
by
be
the way.
a monkey.
I think it's a reward to get into the monkey room. If you're a kid hanging out with Mr. Muggs, that's great.
We're calling. It's actually technically an ape. I've been told that we can't call them monkeys anymore.
No, they're
not
apes.
monkeys.
They're apes, yeah.
Oh, they're apes. Okay.
Yeah, they're absolutely apes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Muggs, the ape.
So Colonel Gordon, who was a Joint Task Force commander, he approached the guy that wrote this article, and he asked him. He said, "Y'all bring a psych tech with you from Panama?" The guy says, "No, sir. Why?" And Gordon said, "They kept trying to push that big gorilla's shoulders into the body bag, but they just couldn't get it zipped up. I watched them for a few minutes until one of them Graves registration guys was going to hack off its shoulders with a machete."
Hold it, he commanded. Why are you going to hack that gorilla up?
Because he won't fit into the body bag, sir.
But why are you putting him in that body bag anyway?
Why, sir? Why? Just wait till they open this one in Dover.
They are gonna laugh and laugh. I can't believe Jim Jones shot his Mr. Muggs.
He shot his Mr.
What
Muggs.
a schmuck.
And that story was actually confirmed by the guy who wrote the article. He called up the medical examiner's office in Dover where all of these bodies were being shipped, and he did confirm that as he was opening the body bags, Mr. Muggs was inside.
And that is funny.
These
But
guys, these jokers, telling us South America sending me monkeys. Man, oh man.
Mr. Muggs could have identified all the bodies if those people knew sign language.
Mr. Muggs was dead.
I know. You got to keep Mr. Muggs alive. He's the last witness we got.
Oh, man, I love Mr. Muggs. I laughed about that for so long.
Sad he's
I
dead,
bet
though.
you did. I bet you did.
So let's round up this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're right before we go. The one last story I think got I don't know. It seems like we're a little late for some sort of. It's a breakdown, Halloween breakdown.
Breakdown.
Halloween. Is it spooky?
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah, it's very spooky stuff. Yeah. Halloween breakdown.
So we're going to go through this list of things. I believe this was a Reddit thread, an Ask Reddit thread that was done not too long ago. And someone asked, what is the creepiest thing your kid has ever said to you?
Yeah.
And these are creepy as shit. They're really cool, but they're really creepy. Let's just go through a few of these. I'm going to start off. One guy said, my 4-year-old daughter snuck into bed with us and said, there's a real old lady in my bed and she laughs mean at me.
That's great stuff. Go back to bed with her, honey. Cuddle with her.
Yeah. I hate sleeping with your mother too. Now get out of here.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
Mom, there's a man who looks like a shadow who comes to my window every night and says mean things.
Yeah.
Like your feet are big.
They are big. I don't have a computer in front of me. My iPhone is flawed, so I can't read any.
You can come around here if you like.
How do I even get over there?
Walk.
Nah.
My son and I were watching a movie. Suddenly he looked over towards the empty doorway to the kitchen and said, Daddy, who is that guy? And why doesn't he ever say anything?
No.
Ugh, good. That kid would be in the adoption center.
Oh, yeah, got to.
Second.
Get rid of him.
One night about 10:30 p.m., there was a tiny knock on my door. I opened it up and there was a small little boy outside. He said, tonight is the night they come for you. Suddenly his dad appeared and apologized profusely as he scooped up his kid and carried him away.
Oh, yeah, this one here is my favorite. Marcus, turn the computer so I can read it. Mom, why is there a dead guy in the basement? That's kind of scary.
Yeah, and if you're John Wayne Gacy, that's a problem.
Right, exactly.
Because that's a witness.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
Just so
Oh
you-
yeah, my daughter started screaming like her skin was pinched in the seatbelt or something. I pulled over the car and asked her what was wrong. She said, "Nothing. I just didn't want to be the ones who die." I asked her what she meant, and she said one of the cars on the road was going to crash. A minute or so later, we came on a rollover that had just barely happened.
Cool. Which
Dang.
one is that? You want me to read that one? Back when my kid, let's see, back when my kid was 3 or 4, he told me that he was really happy to have a new mommy because his old mommy was mean and cranky and drove their car into the pond, and then he didn't miss her very much. God. All right, well that's nice. Old mommy, yeah. A lot of moms do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All three of my kids, when they were little, talked so seriously about these 2 little girls who apparently would come to play with them in their room. All of them had the same story, too. They said the little girls always made sure they knew that, quote, "Mommy was sad, so she pushed us under the water until we fell asleep."
Ghost three-way.
Wow,
Yeah.
so her little girls were the reincarnated ghosts of Andrea Yates?
Interesting.
Very cool.
Fucking nuts.
Daddy, come say hi to Mary. She misses you. My 3-year-old daughter yelled across the backyard. Mary was my older sister who died when I was a kid, and there was no way my daughter had heard about her.
Ooh, cool. We found a dead raccoon in our garden one morning, and my 5-year-old son told me he knew what to do with it, so that nobody in our family would ever be cursed and die that day. I guess there's a raccoon curse the kid was thinking about. This is a smart 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sure, yeah. Or a psychopath.
You never know.
One day, my dad came by to watch my kids while I ran some errands. My daughter said, "Grandpa, you look like the guy who's always hiding behind the fence at school trying to give us stuff."
That is me, honey.
It is me.
Yeah, that one actually.
Want a Werther's original? It's in here, my fucking fly.
Right.
Shipped on my fly.
I think a lot of these are just a child's imagination, but there's a good chance there's a pedophile just hanging out of their school there.
Yes. All right, that's it.
All right, well, I hope everyone's.
I can't believe we did this.
I hope
I can't believe we fucking did this.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, it's Halloween and I'm so excited. It's October. Hello, Satan. You are my father.
I'll tell you,
excited.
compared to last episode, I thought this one was nice and light. So we'll be back at you with the next one. It's going to be much more graphic and disturbing than ever.
Well, next episode, I believe we're doing listener pasta.
Ooh, yes.
Correct. So we're going to get stories from you guys. We're going to do some recordings of you guys.
Can't wait.
Yeah, just let us know, cavecomedyradio@gmail.com. If you've got a story you want to tell, if you want to get on the air, and if you've got something, a particularly creepy story, it doesn't necessarily have to be just ghosts. It can be aliens. Last year, Amy Donahue told a story in which she knew a serial killer.
Who actually took her picture, her headshot.
Yeah, who actually took her headshot. If you've got any kind of weird story like that. In fact, we've got one listener who posted on the page. He said that he actually knew Sung Cho, the Virginia Tech massacre shooter. So if you want, if you want to get a hold of us and let us, I'd love to hear that story. That sounds fascinating. So
Also, we had a couple of people from a long time ago who had said, I know that someone was saying that they worked along with the Psych Wars people for the U.S. Army. Right. And I'd love to hear something from people who've done psychological warfare or know anything about that, about like MK Ultra or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Anything weird about our government is also great.
Also love to hear your largest meal. Maybe you ate like an insane amount of food and, it's really something horrific. It sounds spooky.
Yeah, so October's rolling along. Satan is almost here. God, I miss him. I miss Satan.
You'll be ready. Yeah, and you're doing well out there, Henry? The fans always want to know.
I went to this place called House of Intuition in Silver Lake, this little psychic shop, and I walked in, and one of my favorite things that, I met this woman named Naha, who is a spiritual guider, and it's just all of Los Angeles has a personality problem.
It sounds like you asked a girl out and you asked for her name and she said nah. Nah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
It was pretty great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I miss you guys. Thank you guys for listening. We're rolling along. Follow us on Twitter.
Yep, that's Henry Loves You on Twitter. That's Marcus Parks on Twitter. I'm Ben Kissel on Twitter. We'll do a Hail Satan here, and then I'm going to say Hail yourselves, everyone.
Hail Satan, hail me!
Halgeen.
Happy Halloween.
Ooh,
It's a
yeah.
Halloween breakdown.
Ooh, yeah, one more breakdown.
Yeah.
What was that sound?
Yeah.